Hey gang, welcome back to the channel. Today Jordan and I are excited. We're going to put up the beam today. We had our engineer drawings approved by the city. We've got our permit. We've got all the material on site. So let's go inside and check it out. This is the load-bearing wall we're going to remove. And here's our beams over here. 16 footers, 2 of them. They are 1 3/4 inch thick, 16 inches tall, 16 feet long. The first thing we're going to do today, but we've already done some work ahead of time. We cut back our drywall, and I cut it back 24 1/4 inches to this line. That way when we go to put the new drywall up, we can just cut a sheet in half. It's fast and we don't waste material. When we cut our drywall back, we pulled all the electric out of here, and there was a gas line right here. We pulled all that out, and then we put a chalk line on the floor. That's where the bottom plate of our temporary wall is going to be. So we're going to build a temporary wall right here. And the first thing it's going to do is it's going to take the ceiling load. This ceiling is sitting on the exterior wall here, and this one from these joists. This one was cut previously because the exhaust hood went up through here. So we'll head that off and frame that in properly later. This wall is also holding up the roof. This is the hip roof, and these are holding up the rafters on the roof. So we're gonna transfer that load to our new wall, and we're gonna take these down. I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. All these are doing, this is just blocking for this drywall. So we're gonna remove those also. We're gonna get all those out of our way. And the last load we have to account for is the ridge on this cathedral ceiling. That is not the roof, that's a false cathedral ceiling. But here's the ridge way up here. So we're gonna transfer the load to our new wall, our temporary wall, and we're gonna take this out. The reason we're going to take them out is it's just going to make it easier for us to get the beam in there. The alternative is to cut those and slide the beam in and then reattach to the top of the beam. I thought about it a lot, and we're just gonna remove them. I'm very comfortable that this wall will support everything, and then not having all that lumber in our way is going to make it a whole lot easier, because we also have to cut these back, and we'll show you that later. So our first step is putting up this temporary support wall, so let's get to it. All right, so we've got our load-bearing wall built. It's now supporting the ceiling. So now I'm gonna come through, and I'm gonna remove all the non-load-bearing studs that are simply for the drywall to be attached to. So I've marked the ones with an R that's holding up the roof, and the ones with an X I can remove now. I'm just gonna get them out of my way. And then one quick thing I want to talk about, Jordan, is when we removed this drywall, I could tell that this was sagging right here. I don't know how well it's going to show up on the camera, but this is sagging right here.
I can tell.
Yep. You got basically two 2x6s, what, a 5-foot span? Yeah, 5.5 foot span. And there's some roof load here, so this was really not sufficient. So this is sagging. So we're going to straighten that out, and we'll show you how we do that when we reattach the ceiling joists. Here we go. It's getting hot. Better not Try it. Hey gang, I'm about to head in the attic. I'm gonna be up there, Jordan's gonna be on the ground. I'm gonna be calling out to him the measurements and he's gonna be sending me the lumber. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rest this on our temporary wall. This is the angle of our rafters. I'm gonna put this under the roof rafter on top of our load-bearing wall. I'm gonna make a mark right here. I know this is 4 feet. I'm gonna add the distance from the long point to my mark, and I'm gonna call that out to Jordan. And we're gonna go a little long on our marks so that we know, so that we can hammer this in and transfer the roof load.
We've got a tight fit.
Yep. So I'm procrastinating because it's hot up there, but let's get going. This is rigid duct. If it were flex duct, I could move it, but the very first one, I've got a piece of ductwork in my way.
Right in the way.
So I think I'm just going to go on the side of it, Jordan.
Okay.
So this is our last load-bearing stud. We've transferred the weight to this side, so we're going to show you what the blade should look like when we've properly transferred the load. All right, go ahead, Jordan. Go all the way through. All right. So did y'all see that? If we hadn't transferred the load, then that would have come down and pinched that blade. So I just wanted to show you that. Hey gang, I came down from the attic, hydrated, I got some water. We got the load transferred to the temporary wall. Now we're going to clean up the mess down here and show you the next step. So here we go. All cleaned up, ready for the next step. I'm going to use a sledgehammer and I'm just going to bump these up just to create a gap. And we're going to get the saw blade in there and we're going to cut all these off the top plates. And then we'll be ready to take this wall down. Woohoo!
So let's get to cutting.
All right.
So this is the first house that I've ever reconstructed, and I was having a hard time with the reciprocating saw. I was cutting into the top plate. I was cutting into the top plate, and I was getting pretty frustrated. And I was asking Dad, you know, what am I doing wrong? And so he showed me a little trick, and I thought that this would be cool to show for anybody else who might struggle with the reciprocating saw. So show them what you showed me.
So I'm putting the tip of the blade. The blade's hot now, so
okay, yeah.
I'm gonna trap it between the bottom of the ceiling joist and the top of the wall plate at an angle. And now the blade is going to follow the joint between the two pieces of wood. All right, now we've got all the ceiling joists separated from the top plate. Now we're going to pull this wall down. So I'm at full depth here, cut as far as I could, and now the reciprocating saw can follow, and that'll separate the top plates from here and here. See that?
Yeah.
That's what we want. I'm not cutting here, I'm cutting over here because our jacks are going to sit here to support the new beam.
Yep.
So I'm going to cut over here.
So we need a place to secure the jack to.
And then we'll trim it later.
Cool.
So I got a nail right here. I'm going to cut on. I got it. Nice job.
Nice.
All right, we'll disassemble this, get it out of the way. And we're going to pop a line from the back side of here all the way down. And we're going to pop a line on the bottom of these because now these are in the way. We'll pop a line and trim these off so the beam can slide into place. All right, here's our chalk line that we snapped across the entire bottom of all these. I'm going to use my speed square and the circular saw and trim these off right on the line. All right, we're all cut back on the ceiling joist. Now it's time to put the beam up. That's our waist.
All right.
Beams are up, and now we're connecting them together with these structural screws. So we laid out all the screw locations on the ground, so we're not in the air trying to do all that. So we popped 3 lines, and we marked them according to the manufacturer's recommendations. So now all we got to do is put them all in. So the impact hammer got left at home, so I'm using this today. And I don't know that the impact hammer would have had enough power to drive all these anyway. But this guy never lets me down. Hey gang, we just got down from the attic, so I want to give you a quick rundown on what we did. So remember that the roof was supported on this temporary wall. So the first one I did was this one. It's at an angle because it's supporting the hip rafter. Just going this way. So we installed this one, and then we removed the one off of the load-bearing wall. And then we just worked our way down. We installed this one onto a hip jack, one of the Raptors up there, transferred the load to the beam, and we took this one down.
Using the same piece of wood.
Yep.
From the temporary wall.
Yep.
To reduce waste.
Same thing here. Then we got to the ridge beam for this cathedral ceiling. The engineer specified he wanted two 2x4 supporting the ridge. So we put them this direction like that. Again, transferring the load first, then removing our temporary. And then we worked our way and finally transferred the entire roof load onto here.
Yeah.
So now we're ready to attach the ceiling joist to the beam. If you remember earlier, we talked about how this area was sagging because of the undersized header. And you can really see it here. See how this one's almost flush? But as we work our way to our right, they're hanging down more and more until we get right here where it goes back up. So we're going to use our bottle jack. Jack these up flush and put in our joist hangers. So let's do that. Hey gang, back on the ladder, we're putting up our joist hangers. So we're going to put that there. Can you grab me that, Jordan? And just because we don't have enough hands, we're just going to use the hydraulic jack just to lift it so it's flush with the bottom of the beam. I'll drive my 8 nails with my palm nailer. Love this thing just because there's no way to swing a hammer up here, and I don't have a positive placement tool. But I love this. It just makes the nails disappear. So let's put these joist hangers up. It's magnetic, and then you just push to dry. All right, we've got 4 of the joist hangers up. We just wanted to stop and show you something. So this is where we've already transferred the ceiling load to the beam. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, we already talked about this one, but watch this. It's exactly what you want. That means we're taking the weight off of this, and again, putting on the beam. If I go down here, there's no way I can move that.
It's awesome.
Yep, and then one more thing, I think we didn't talk about it, Jordan. The beauty of using these screws from this side is we don't have to account for hardware like that when we're attaching our joist. I think
so
anybody who's...
the head of the screw is not getting in the way
of our nails.
Yeah.
A lot of times if you were to through bolt this, you would have to lay out your hangers and your bolt locations so they don't interfere. So that's another advantage of using these structural screws.
Yeah, that's good.
And it is okay to put them all from one side in this application. Just follow your engineer drawings. All right, more joist hangers. All right, now that we've got all the joist hangers up, it's time to remove the temporary wall. So let's get it down.
Let's get it down.
Mom will be happy. The wall's down, but now we got a big mess again, so we're gonna get all this wood cleaned up and brought outside. Hey guys, we're all cleaned up now. I want to show you a couple things over here before we end the video. I worked a lot on the West Coast, and I feel for you guys in the seismic areas, because down here you might have to pour a new foundation, have a third-party inspector watching you, have a post cap up here. We're in South Louisiana. No concerns, but for seismic, but just be sure to follow the plans that your engineer gave you, because this is serious stuff right here. Everybody who's been by the house lately, they love how open this is. We love it, and it's gonna totally change this whole area of the house when you're here at the kitchen and you can just see the whole living room.
Yeah, because I mean, there used to be a wall here. I mean, you guys saw it, so
Yep.
it used to be totally blocked off, and the beam just opens it up.
Yep. We went into a lot of detail on this beam. We hope you picked up a few tips and tricks. And maybe even helps you with your project. If you learned something, let us know. If you have some comments, something you do different, let us know in the comments below. Smash the like button and click and subscribe. We appreciate it.
See you in the next one.
All right.